I'm Jules.
I'm Jason.
And
we doing Fantastic Fours.
Filmographies.
This is the best idea we've ever had.
This is the second in the 4-film series of Fantastic Four movies.
And eventually we'll do the 5th, probably, or not.
Oh.
We don't care.
No, we will.
It's like very clear that the 5th one is probably going to be the good one.
Quite possibly, because I will say this movie is from 2005.
Yeah, 20 years ago.
It had another just real the tagline. 4 times the action, 4 times the adventure, 4 times the fantastic. What in the hell? This movie had a budget of $100 million.
Shut up. Is that true?
Estimated. Yeah.
Really?
Uh-huh.
They spent $100 million on this?
It took 18 days to do that one sequence where Johnny Storm flies towards the camera before he falls in the snow. They spent money on this movie. They really wanted it. Worldwide gross, $333.5 million.
That's why there's a sequel.
Yeah, goddamn right. 20th Century Fox hired director Tim Story after his ensemble work on Barbershop.
We can't talk straight in the barbershop, then where can we talk straight?
And Barbershop 2, back in business.
Something wrong with R. Kelly, man. Y'all see the tape? I think it was set up. Oh, yeah, he was set up. Nah, he set up the camera.
Early drafts of the film apparently featured Mole Man.
Like, didn't have the rights.
Is he cooler than we kind of think he is?
Yes, it is I, the great Mole Man. Welcome to my kingdom of Subterranea.
At one point, Mel Gibson was considered for the role of Dr. Doom.
I just think about Julian McMahon and Famke Janssen in Nip Tuck.
Yeah.
And immediately realizing she's had a sex change operation because her constructed vagina is too shallow.
Oh.
He knows instantly.
Jessica Alba did dye her hair blonde for this movie.
Okay.
You think she did that again for the second movie?
I don't know.
She wore a wig. Hugh Jackman was actually offered the role of Reed Richards.
But he
Huey
was already
Jack.
Wolverine.
He goes, I'm doing a better movie.
Yeah,
As a homage in a deleted scene, which just looks incredibly garish, and here it is.
Well, I guess that's what I thought you always wanted. A stronger man.
He turns into Hugh Jackman. Instead of doing just the square-jawed character, I'm American, he goes full Huey Jack, and it
looks like a joke.
How does he get the hair to do what it's doing? Is it moving around his face? Because I don't know.
I hate it so much.
It's awful.
I couldn't be more upset when you sent that to me.
Did you notice the little action figure that Johnny Storm had of the thing?
Yeah, the prototype.
That was a real action figure.
Oh, really?
From a 2002 line of Marvel Legends action figures.
I mean, it looked like a pretty good toy. You couldn't see it great, but...
Yeah, I don't think it made that noise in real life.
It's clobbering time!
It's catchy, right?
It's clobbering time! It would not be a baby voice.
You know what also would not be a baby voice? You hitting me with that synopsis.
Fantastic Four, 2005. Dr. Reed Richards. Ioan Gruffudd. Lone Gruffudd. Oh, I put an extra R in there. Dr. Reed Richards. Ioan Gruffudd. Oh my I can't do it. And his military pilot cohort, Ben Grimm, the commish, convince uber-rich businessman Victor Von Doom, Julian McMahon, great name by the way, to fund their space science shenanigans. Along for the ride is Sue Storm, Jessica Alba, Reed's old flame, and Victor's new main squeeze, and Sue's hothead daredevil beefcake brother, Johnny Storm, Chris Evans. After a freak accident, all 5 become freaks, but there are only 4 Fantastic Four. There are only Fantastic Four.
Okay, he did it, folks. He did it.
I'm embarrassed.
You know, Chris Evans reprises this role in a little film called Daredevil versus Wolverine, or whatever it's called.
Wolverine Deadpool?
Deadpool Wolverine. With Elektra.
He's in that?
Who's from Daredevil. Johnny Storm.
He's in that?
Yeah, when they go to the whatever, area. They run across him, and he's got like a satchel or a shawl type poncho on, and he goes, "I'm here to help you guys." And he goes, "Holy shit, it's Captain America!" And he's Johnny Storm.
My God, he's gonna say it!
Say what?
Avengers! Flame on! Sorry, what now?
So yeah, this movie sucks, but it's kind of fun.
That's the big problem with this movie, right?
Well, the big problem with this movie is the Thing's hands are far too big.
Yeah, and they always give him 4
They
fingers.
really leaned in on the comic book aesthetic only specifically for that character. But he looks awful in the facial area. The dude from the Roger Corman movie,
What kind of a thing have I turned into?
You like his lip curls and stuff?
he looks far superior to
Michael
whatever the is going on here.
Chiklis looks weirdly flat always.
They go super comic on everything. His feet are huge. He wears really big sneakers, a trench coat like he's the Turtles. But then they give him like a Freddy Krueger face.
Yeah.
He looks
Yeah,
awful.
it's not those boulders.
Oh God! So they're just normal folk. Ben and Reed are together doing science because Ben is also a pilot, but I don't think he's really a scientist. And he's 10 years older than Lone Gruffudd, by the way.
Gruffudd.
And he lobbied to be in here because he liked the comics when he was young.
Chiklis?
Yeah,
Yeah.
more like Dickless. I'm sorry. So they are trying to pitch their idea to Dr. Doom, who has a shit ton of money. He's not really Latvian in this movie. They decided not to do that.
Yeah, I mean they talk about it later. Go back to your country.
Instead of
but
it's-
he's got no accent
No.
whatsoever.
There's a mask that he has on display that says like "gift of the Latvian people for being baller as shit" or something.
Oh, nice.
I don't
I
know.
like this movie 5% more.
His boardroom is awful. It's just like a weird table, like a boardroom table, fine. But then instead of like just office style big boy chairs, they're like these weird pod swivel chairs that these guys are sitting on, but their chairs are like 4.5 feet away from the table because their legs can't fit. It's just like really weird. And when the guy tells them you have a week to get your shit together and he storms off, he has to like weave through these dumb chairs.
Wow, I did not notice that.
It's really stupid. So he goes, yeah, all right, look, I want to do this science thing. Here's some stuff. And he goes, read. I don't give a We'll do it.
But you only get 25%. I take all the rest of the money.
75% of the shit. By the way, I'm also banging on Darla over here. And she comes in like, hello, Reed. I'm only 23, but I'm an executive in a company after becoming a mastermind scientist or something.
He's supposed to be 23?
We really don't get much of an idea of how intelligent she's supposed to be. She's holding books while he's doing science, but she's really just pep talking him. She doesn't.
It's crazy.
Same thing with Johnny Storm. There's no indication that he has any intelligence or expertise to back up the fact that he's also an insufferable. He's just there.
Yeah.
It's like, what? So they go, all right, we're going to go to space because you have a space station and we need to capture this plasmatic miasma of protons and
neutrons
and Johnson rods. You know, we got to get this fucking thing in here because it's going to mutate these plants that we put out in this thing to alter their genes so we can learn how to, I don't know.
Tomatoes is screaming pain?
Yeah, and so he goes, all right, word, we're going to do that. But then they get up there and Doom's like, hey, Jessica Alba, I got this really dumb-looking ring. Let's get married. She's like, what? He goes, I have 4 words that are going to change your life, which normally would be, will you marry me?
I am Dr. Doom.
However, I have a cut. However, in this instance, Reed Richards bursts in and he says 4 other little whimsical merry words. The storm is early.
Okay.
Ah, shit!
This is kind of okay at this point. It reminds me of the first movie. It's not super gripping, but like when it gets to the sequences, you're like, okay, Fantastic Four.
Much like the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man, it's a little colorful, a little bright. Everything's daytime and, you know, a little bit of a weird throwback to like the 40s or 50s.
It's for sure missing that Spider-Man charm, though.
But it's, and I think that comes down to the cast, to be honest. But
it's a terrible cast.
At this point, it just doesn't get serious like Spider-Man does. The ending is the first Spider-Man is traumatizing if you're a young child.
Oh.
They all get zapped, and while they're being zapped, Reed Richards stretches a little bit. Sue Storm is visible a little bit. Johnny Storm's got chlamydia a little bit, and Ben is just like, "What? What's going on?"
That's wrong.
I don't know. Oh, and there was a line where Dr. Doom is like, you're always stretching yourself thin, Reed. Ben Grimm, you're always being thing-like.
I think maybe you go with no famous people?
Yeah.
Right? Like, you could pick good actors that fit like a campy tone.
Yeah.
They went for famous people.
Like a Greg Kinnear.
Like Ian
would have been a fine Dr. Richards.
Sure, but they went with Ioan Gruffudd.
Yeah, and they went with Nip Tuck over here.
Like I think I could maybe handle Nip Tuck in a better written movie as Dr. Doom. This shit's terrible. I feel like Sue Storm's bad. Johnny Storm is annoying, and it's like I always wanted to like Chris Evans. I never did, and I'm glad he did Captain America because even though that first one is stupid, he's likable as that wooden character.
He matures quite well. He ad-libbed a lot of his lines in this movie.
I think Michael Chiklis is terrible in this.
He's god-awful.
And
especially that tender moment. Hey, Reed, she's down there. Go talk to her.
You live through something like this. It really makes you appreciate having the right woman in your life.
Yeah, you and Debbie are perfect.
I'm not talking about Debbie.
I think it's super possible Jessica Alba's a terrible actress.
Quite possible. No, not. It is absolutely
That's
verified.
the truth?
Yeah, she's...
He's right, Ben. It is just business.
I think you both know my director of genetic research, Susan Storm.
I gotta talk about Chiklis for a second. I'm sorry. He looks fat.
I think he looks fit.
But I know he is fit. I think he's got a weird I look fat even though I'm not look to him.
He's got a butterbean neck. That's the problem.
Okay. What is a butterbean neck? Oh, yes. Oh, it is that neck. Is it the neck and the bald head?
Yeah. Because
I feel like I was looking at his body and I was like, there's nothing wrong here. You look good, Chiklis.
Yeah, he's a real king hippo.
Chiklis is fine in The Shield, but I can't really buy him in that either.
Yeah.
Also, I want to like him, but I think I never do except for in 1985.
And then Johnny Storm's like, you know what? I'm going to get up out of here. I got to go snowboarding. Originally, his fire effects were far more realistic, but they were like, that's too frightening.
What?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
It was maybe almost cool?
Yeah, let's make them glowing orange and yellow.
Oh, man. That's interesting because they aggressively made a mediocre film.
Because he does it.
Yeah.
And it's like a flame. But when he's on fire, it's like he's lava. And then he goes like almost supernova. And he burns down that thing. Johnny, stop. You're going too hot.
You're melting the hot box. The hot box designed to withstand high temperatures. You melted it.
Yeah, so it's at this point where they're like, okay, Susan busy. You're stretchy. You're on fire. Oh, God, what's going on with Ben? And they go and he bursts out. We don't see him, and he's running in through the woods.
I took a rock shit.
And,
whoa.
Yeah, and he goes to the city because he's a rock man now.
Is that in the movie, or is that your song that goes with
That's
it?
my song.
Okay.
That's what happens when I run through the woods. I assume it's the same for him. And so he gets on a trench coat and a hat. Somehow he finds a big and fat store with trousers, and he calls up his woman.
It's 1940. Yeah, hey.
She goes, hey, I'm just a hot blonde sitting around in my nightie.
This lady is the dirtiest bitch on the planet. She is a real piece of shit.
This whole thing is super truncated and really, really silly, stupid. So he goes, hey, baby, it's me. Are you all right? You sound weird.
It's still my voice. I just talk like this now.
I got a surprise. Come outside. You're not going to like it. And she has a banner that she somehow got placed on the exterior of this looks like they're in San Francisco, does it not? This whole area where they are, it feels like Ashbury. It's like, what the hell?
I don't think I watch movies like that.
I guess, but I guess they're in New York. So what does she do, Jason, when she comes out to meet him?
She's in her underwear.
She just runs out in her nightie.
Yeah.
In the middle of New York.
It's raining?
It had been raining.
That's weird.
And you're in the middle of the night in New York. And your husband's like, come on out. I got a shocking surprise. And you're like, oh, I don't need to get dressed. So she goes, Ben, where are you? He goes, I'm behind this bush.
Don't look at me, though. I got blasted by radiation.
Yeah.
I'm the Hulk now.
I got to just warn you. And he steps out and she goes,
Oh my God.
Deb, it's me. It's still me. It was the accident. Let me explain.
No, don't touch me!
Debs!
Hulk with rocks.
hey, baby, we could make it work. She's like, no. And she
I got
runs
no
away.
hair.
She says what?
No. And runs away. And he goes,
Yeah.
So now he's just brooding.
It's not nice. Listen, I thought about this. If my girlfriend became a rock lady, I would not like run from her in fear. Oh, we got to work on this. See what's going on. I'm not going to just like be like, you're a freak. F you.
To get into his room, Ioan Gruffudd slips his super fake hand underneath the door. And I'm glad Johnny Storm said this because I was thinking it. That's disgusting.
Making a little pancake kid.
And then he's watching it. And then he just pulls the handle and click. It's like, wait a second. What kind of a door is this? So he goes, whoop, there's my hand. And then she goes, oh, I'm invisible. And Johnny Storm's like, I don't do anything yet. Oh, wait, no. He goes, yeah, you should have seen it. My body, it's like this, but I'm all over. Because I went into flame mode.
We never talked about it. He went into flame mode. She saw him turn into flames.
He
She
crashed
finds him
into
in
the
a
snow.
melted crater.
Care to join me?
And he's like, you want to f-? And she's like, I do.
Because it's a sauna.
Right. But he is made of fire.
Yeah.
Would you have sex with a fire lady? Be honest. You would not. That's a fucking terrible idea. You're so much more likely to be murdered by even Ben Grimm. You're more likely to be accidentally killed by Ben Grimm too when you're fucking.
Maybe. He doesn't have a
Ben Grimm?
Yeah.
You don't think he's got a fucking rock hog? Why not? Of course he
No.
does.
You know, they had one of the rocks on his head they could remove, and they would pour cold water in there because he was super hot while filming.
His body just turned to rock. They didn't get rid of anything, although it makes no sense. He's also got less fingers, so maybe.
Well, and sometimes when he walks, it makes like goosh, goosh sounds, and sometimes it doesn't.
They show the insides of his organs. They're like, they're all rock also. It
He
seems like
can't
it's just a transfer.
Ride in an elevator, yet he doesn't just completely destroy any marble floor he walks on.
Right.
What the f*** is going on?
Because he doesn't get the sneakers till the very end.
Because when they crash into the pool, I mean, they just fall through the floor because he weighs at least, what did they say, 900 pounds? It's fucking insane. So they find him. He's on the bridge, and there's a guy like, I'm going to kill myself. I'm a New York broker.
I'm a monster. Don't do it.
You think you got it bad? And he goes, you good.
I'm fucking gross.
And he's trying to grab him. Come here. And he falls, and the truck almost hits him, but Ben jumps down, and he does a matrix on the truck. So they are watching TV, and they go, where's Ben? And they go, holy shit, he's on TV. He's on that bridge. And traffic's just piling up. And then, for some reason, a fire truck shows up, and there's a Dalmatian in the truck.
Is there?
Yeah. And some idiot was like, that's probably a reference to the fact that Ioan Gruffudd was in 101 Dalmatians. And I'm like, no, you stupid idiot.
Is he the guy?
Jeff Daniels is the guy in the first 101 Dalmatians, but Ioan Gruffudd is the guy in the second.
It's because fucking firefighters have Dalmatians, and this is a throwback.
Yeah.
Dipshit.
Way back. They could smell the fire, right?
Yeah.
When
when Roxanne wasn't around. So they go, oh shit, we better get to the bridge. And they get to the bridge, but the fire guys are like, you can't enter. The police are there too. You can't go past us. And it's at this point, they're in a crowd of people, where Ioan Gruffudd is like, hey, Sue, you can turn invisible.
You know what? We should work as a team.
And she does. But you could still see her bra and panties. And then all of a sudden she comes back and she goes, oh.
Wow, you've been working out.
Shut up.
They're telling her to take her clothes off so she can get past the emergency services people, right? Keep that in mind. So they're like, whoa. The whole audience is just like, whoa. But then she goes invisible, drops her bra and panties. And Johnny Storm, thankfully, picks them up. And him and Reed exit the crowd the opposite direction, leaving the scene.
It was Ditcher?
Then all of a sudden, they're meeting her, giving her her clothes. And she's putting them on.
Oh, they're not working as a team? They just sent her on an invisible mission?
Well, it seems like they're saying, get naked so that you can sneak by. And then they just walk in.
I bet you somebody's like, you dummies.
So it's like, why did she need to get nude? Other than the fact that it's Jessica Alba. For some reason, something explodes and the fire truck's about to fall off the bridge. And Ben's grabbing it. And Reed swoops down and grabs a guy, and Johnny Storm does nothing, I don't think.
It's crazy because that one guy is plummeting.
Mm-hmm.
He's falling like far.
Hundreds of thousands.
And then all of a sudden, he's caught.
I got you.
He holds his feet hold him up, and he zooms down.
Yeah, they
you
don't
ever
really
see him
show
going.
It, do
no.
it.
No,
you
that
just
means
get the suggestion that he's doing
because it looks stupid.
Yeah, especially when he's wrapping up Ben after their fight.
Yeah.
God. So they're like, holy cow, these folks saved us. And then, like, the police show up and they pull out their guns.
We're going to arrest them, these
the
guys.
The fire guy goes, no, and he puts the gun down.
They're the Fantastic Four.
Who are these guys? And they go, we don't want to be popular. Oh, and then all of a sudden, from the crowd emerges Ben's girlfriend.
He's like, oh, shit, second chance?
And he walks up to her and she goes, no.
Scary.
It runs away. It's like,
this is within one night. She's abandoned him, right? It's been like an hour.
Hours, yeah. And they were like, we felt we needed to add her because it gave him some depth. It's
That's
like,
awful.
Really?
Jenny, listen, if you turned to a rock-like thing, like you're a rock person now, okay? And you came to tell me that you were a rock person now, I want you to know that I would not run away from you in fear. I would figure things out with you.
So they're like, oh, man, this is crazy. And then Reed Richards just starts doing a news conference. Like, well, we have a disease. Is it contagious?
We're heroes.
Yeah, we just, trying to figure this shit out. Dr. Doom is hovering around this whole time. Not really doing a whole lot except getting shit on. And slowly his cut is perforating and revealing he's metallic.
He, like, tries to bully Reed because he's like, I can bully Reed. He's a...
Victor, if we could understand...
I don't want to understand it! This isn't one of your science projects. I just want to fix it. Fast.
Is there a problem?
There a problem here?
Yeah, he's getting evil now. He overthrows his company. He starts to become Dr. Doom. He knows that they're working on a machine to save Ben, to revert Ben, but they don't have enough power.
What is he wants them to all be reversed for the benefit of his company, or he wants to be reversed too?
I think he realizes that through their device, which is based on the machine from The Fly, that he can harness their power. Because that's what he does. Because like Reed tries to zap Ben and it just doesn't work. I don't have enough power.
Mm-hmm.
And Von Doom is just surveilling them the whole time. And he shows up. He goes, "You need power, Ben Grimm? Yeah, you could do that. Get in the machine." And he punches it. And he gets electrocuted and he absorbs it.
Yeah.
And Ben's all cured. It's funny because when he goes into the machine, he has on his enormous comic book shoes. And then when we see him, he's drowning in those trousers because he's normal again. And you can see one of the shoe peeking up from the smoke. I was like, oh, where did his shoes go? Oh, there he was. And he goes, I'm baller now. And then Doom goes, yes, but I'm super evil. And he fucking cuts him all over the place. And
I think he just hits him once
pretty
and
bad.
fucks him up.
He
Yeah.
flies through a metallic shelf.
Yeah. It would kill you, right?
Right. You
the force, I think you actually just break his skull with that
punching
punch.
kills him. The shelf is just his eulogy, And then they see the machine going buck wild from afar, and they go, "Oh shit, we got to get back there." It's unclear how they get there that quickly.
I don't know.
Because Johnny Storm really isn't utilizing his power. He hasn't figured out how to turn it on at this point.
This movie is like very unlikable, and they give you
their suits are awful. They're like dark blue.
They're at least
they tried to do the X-Men thing, and
scientifically, when they're like, yeah, I mean, it won't like burn up when you turn into a Human Torch. You can stretch it if you happen to be made of rubber, and if you're invisible, it's
it goes
use your
with
powers to make it invisible.
And if you're the Thing, you just have to wear the slacks.
But he won't. He won't. I mean, he could probably wear the whole thing. The whole point is that it stretches.
I think.
This movie
when he does it, yeah. So they go, "Oh, Dr. Doom, you're doing bad shit." He goes, "Yeah, no shit, fuckhead."
This movie is super boring.
Yeah.
There's like no action sequences. They don't do anything cool.
I think the problem with this one specifically, and is also the problem with the Josh Trank one, is the same thing. Now that one was undermined a little bit, but they just take forever to get to something good.
People don't want the origin story, right?
No, you don't need an origin story for
You're
this.
fine.
So they are like, all right, we got to bandy together and fight. And Johnny Storm looks at the Thing. He goes, yeah, too bad you're useless now.
Well, it's good earlier when Julie McMahon lasers the electricity bolts that guy through the chest.
Maybe that's where you belong. The old country.
This guy that was talking shit to him in the business meetings.
You sucker, we voted you out.
Now we're in a parking garage. He's like, hey, don't hurt me. You're a bitch and you suck. Why don't you go back to your own country?
He goes, did you do something to the lights? Because they're flickering. Ping.
Ho!
He does this. He looks at it.
And he gets that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
It's pretty violent. So apparently then Ben Grimm can just go back into the machine, turns it to reverse.
He can control it.
And now he's exactly the same. He got the exact dose, although it had to have been stronger because it materializes much faster than it did originally. Anyway, so he shows up and he just starts clobbering time. Boosh, goosh, goosh. And they fight, him and Doom. They fly around a little bit. They fall through a pool. A guy's trying to get his keys in the door while the water's coming in. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like Rick Moranis from that movie.
Well, you know he's going to get swept out that window and plummet like 12 stories.
He
so
doesn't,
it's
though. He gets
amazing.
in.
Why no? But that's the fear when you
It
realize
is.
that water's coming. You see that window at
It's
the
on
end.
him. He closes the door, though.
Good
and
job.
they go out the window.
And they didn't go in his apartment.
And now they're on the street fighting, and he's just kind of getting the upper hand because he's like, I'm pretty much all powerful here, dick sucker.
Mm.
Ben Grimm's like, hey.
Clobbering time?
That time passed. Now it's
time on.
Please don't kill me time. So yeah, Johnny Storm comes up. He goes, hey, and Reed goes, hey, Johnny, go supernova. And he goes, you told me not to. He goes, fuck it. So he starts flying around him, and Doom's just like, oh, ho, ho, ho. And then Sue uses her powers to,
I will say,
encapsulate the supernova.
I don't love this, but I also love it because they're working as a team, and you're like, yeah, the Fantastic Four should be great as a team, not for individual fighters, but to have a plan.
It's the best you can do.
Yeah.
There's no way they would have enough control over their powers to do probably this and know what to do. Also, did her shield go underneath? Because if he's going supernova and it didn't go underneath, it'll just melt through the cement and into the core of the earth. And then we're
separate
really
it.
in a bad shape. Yeah. So then he goes, I'm super hot now, but I'm not finished yet. And Reed goes,
Doom says,
oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What happens to things when they go super hot?
What
metal.
happens to a frog when it gets electrocuted?
What happens when you rapidly cool hot metal? Bang!
And he shrinks.
I wanted the Thing to punch him into space or something.
Mm-hmm.
I hate this movie.
And and then they're like, it's the Fantastic Four. So then, that is actually the end of the movie.
That's bad.
It's, nobody was breakdancing or DJing. So it's kind of got that going for it.
No, I mean, it's serviceable to a point, but my instincts that it was an incredibly boring movie I never wanted to see were dead on. I got that from the trailers, and that's what the movie is. It is not good and boring, and there's no reason to watch it.
It's odd because on a certain level, it doesn't feel like they're adhering too strongly to the source material. So you're thinking, okay, then maybe they could do something a little interesting.
No.
But
it's
it also feels
filler.
like the director, whatever his vision was, I think the studio was just like, yeah, you gotta do this, you kind of gotta do that.
It shouldn't. I mean,
like at one point when they first show up and they're like, "It's the Fantastic Four," and Johnny Storm has sunglasses on and they do an extreme close up.
Yeah.
It sort of just feels like, is this a brand tie-in? That's what this movie feels like.
It should have been like balls out action scenes, or else wildly compelling in between action sets.
Yeah.
You should have been like completely invested in these characters, played by good actors.
Mm-hmm. Played by, appropriate actors. I mean, honestly, the 1978 version or whatever we watched. 94. Yeah, God. In a lot of ways is a superior movie, which is just crazy.
Yeah. What this movie sucks. The Fantastic Four suck.
Yeah,
this next one's
I feel
not
like
going to be
it
any
sucked
good.
when I was young.
Yeah,
and then I had hopes.
We were in the same boat. Like it's a big summer blockbuster. It's going to be entertaining.
I can shut my brain off for this and enjoy it, and no, it's just not good. Because God, yeah, like I said, Sue just exists to be Jessica Alba.
If they cut a half hour out, right? Because it's like 2 hours and 5 minutes.
First half.
I don't know. I think you just cut. I think you could take a half hour out, and maybe it would move along fast enough to be what you hoped it would be.
Yeah.
Just an action
movie.
movie.
And Ben Grimm meets a blind woman.
Make it a double.
Make it a triple. Put it on my tab, Ernie.
All right, Alicia.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
I like his voice. He sounds kind of like a monster.
Yeah. Now, when he goes to her apartment, she has a bunch of marionettes. Because that character in the comic book, her dad is the puppet master.
I dislike this movie. I would give this movie a 5. It's not unbearable. It's not even a 6 though. Like it's just boring enough and like flat enough to give it a 5.
Yeah.
It does not do a good enough job.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I'd give this movie a 5 as well. You know, it's like, well, it's not that long.
5. What else? I'm not
7
6-3 6-3-4 1-8-9-7.
Yeah, shit, man. You know, next week, tomorrow,
I think it is a week.
We're gonna be doing the next Fantastic Four.
Rise of the Silver Surfer. The good times are
is
over.
That Lawrence Fishburne? What else? Linktree linktr.ee/we doing filmographies.
I forgot. That's what we were doing.
You can like and subscribe this video. We do this by ourselves, by the way. We don't have a publisher that we pay or.
Coming in the fall of 2025, our audio podcast becomes video.
Yeah, it's already video.
Here where you are,
full time.
Yeah, we acted out. We act out the recordings.
You can rate and review us on podcast stuff because there will still be an audio element on podcast.
But we've ruined it because we're editing for video. So the poor audio listeners, of which there's 5, are like,
you're not going to get as quality of a audio edit as I would normally offer up. I spend time on those things.
Yeah, I just make garbage.
Yeah. You can Gmail us at gmail.com/FordFilmographies.
I think you said that.
Yeah. When you rate and review us to go back, you can suggest a movie for us to watch. Next week, we're doing Rise of the Silver Surfer, and that's about the end of the story.
The story is just beginning. Yeah, okay. Yep, we'll see you next week with The Rise of the Silver Surfer. This cast, this crew, let's do another one of these. I've been Jason.
And I've been Jules.
And